Hey y'all, it's your girl Cassandra here with Pecan Porch Boutique, back with another video for y'all. I only got 3 projects into this video, y'all, but hey, 3 is better than none, right? All right, let's get into it with project number 1. So this little scale here, with all of its great patina, was my mom's. And my mom was the best garage saler in the world. So she found this at a garage sale many years ago, and I've kept it since then. So, and I am going to keep this. I plan to keep this one. It's going to just be a prop in my shop. But I'm just going to give it a little update because I think it needs just a little something. But y'all, I'm not going to mess with that great patina at all. But I am going to take off a little bit of the rust, and I'm going to start with some of the little black dress on the scale part of it. And this is DIY's little black dress, and I'm not going to do like a full complete coverage. Like I said, I want to keep the patina, I want to keep some of the rust, but I'm just going to give this part a little bit of a little cover up because I'm going to be adding some stuff to this part of it. So that is what I'm doing here. One coat and just really lightly swiping over it and leaving some of that great rust that has naturally been created over the years. I'm just going to leave it right in there. So now I'm going to keep using that little black dress, what's left, and I'm going to add some of this kaolin clay powder. I've been using this for just, to add some texture, like a texture additive to my paint. I got it from Amazon, y'all, and it's pretty cheap, and you get like a 2-pound bag, so it goes a long way. And I got these little stencils here from Amazon too. They came in this pack, and it's like different wildflowers and leaves and that kind of stuff. So I decided that I was going to do the hardest thing in the world, and I am going to do a raised stencil along this very skinny part of the scale, which was a bit challenging. Of course, I always do something that, it sounds good in theory, and then when I start to do it, I'm like, why? But anyway, so I mixed the powder with my paint and got it really thick. And I'm going to use these little vines to go down the long, skinny part of this scale. And I'm going to do a raised stencil. And I'm using this rubber squeegee thing. And I'm just going to pull it right over my stencil. And then scrape it back as best I can. Again, I didn't have much room, y'all. Scrape it back as best I can. And then just peel it away to get the raised stencil part. And as you'll see, I had to kind of clean it up a little bit because, again, I didn't have much room for this. But I did it anyway. And it came out pretty good. Okay, so once that is all dried up, I'm going to take just a little bit of the DIY's Gypsy Green, and I'm going to paint inside those little leaves and the little stems. Now, I did the black because I wanted it to be kind of like a black outline, so I'm not giving complete coverage. I don't I don't want to cover up all the black, but I want it to kind of just have the green inside and then the black kind of like a little outline around the green. So that's what I'm doing here. I just took a little fine artist brush and some of that gypsy green, and then I'm just going to paint in all of these leaves all the way around this scale. So once all the paint was dry, my next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use Roy Cycles stencil. This one is called Paper Doll. And I am going to be putting her on the part that you step on, the bottom part of the scale. So I'm going to be using her body and her skirt to stencil onto the scale. I mean, she's a lot lighter than me, y'all. So I figured she'd be perfect to go on. She's not going to tip the scale, that's for sure. But anyway, so you can cut up your stencils too, y'all. Cut them up to fit whatever it is that you're trying to put them on. I actually enjoyed this. It kind of reminded me of like cutting out paper dolls. So anyway, so I started out using DIY's Cowgirl Coral. I think I ended up going over that color though, because it was a little bit too stark once I got it on there. But I'm just taking a stencil brush, some Cowgirl Coral, dipping it in my paint and then offloading, because with stenciling you don't need a lot of paint, y'all. And then I'm just gonna stencil on her body. I'm gonna stencil on her skirt. And then because she was so darn brave as to get on this scale, I even stenciled on the little crown that came with the stencil too, y'all. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just gonna get her all stenciled up. And because I can never miss an opportunity to add some typography, I have used my IOD typesetting stamp to write out the word, or to create the word beauty with those letters. And I am going to add those down the side. I'm going to use some of the IOD white ink to stamp those letters up. And then I'm just going to add those to the side, just laying them down. I have them on my little plastic mat, and I'm just going to lay them down and press them in firmly, each letter, and get a word that says beauty. I think beauty and scale should always go hand in hand, no matter what your weight is. So that's what I'm doing here. Just going to press each letter, get them all firmly pressed down to spell out the word beauty. So I had this one little small piece of IOD's transfer called Wander left over. And this is an old transfer. It's been around for a long time. And it was one of my favorites, y'all. So I had this one little piece left, and I decided that I was going to put that on the top of the scale. So I've already given, and it was perfect size for the very top of it. Kind of wraps around the back a little, around the sides. So it was perfect. But I've already given the top part some of DIY's liquid patina, because I like to seal my project before I add the transfer. So I sealed it up, let it dry, and now I'm just going to put this transfer on at the very top. And again, y'all, I did not touch any of the rusty patina. I left some of the peeling paint at the bottom because I wanted to keep this scale in its natural condition as it is now. And so this transfer, I think, was perfect for the top. All right, y'all, that is it for Mama's scale. Let's take a look back. We kept the rusty patina. It wasn't bad as it was. I did see another one at a garage sale though, so I know now that it used to be white. So it had a lot of patina on it. But look at it now, y'all. It's not anything, too spectacular. I just added a little something just to give it a little bit of, just a little update. And I did end up adding some more stencils from that same little pack of stencils to the bottom as well in the white ink. I used the white ink to stencil all those on, and I added some of the other ones at the very bottom of the scale around the edge in the gypsy green. So I don't know, I think it turned out really cute. What do y'all think? Anyway, it's a keeper. It's not for sale. I'll be keeping it. So yeah, there we go. Hope y'all like it. All right, let's move on to project number 2. This is going to be a real simple little project, y'all. I found this little wooden, I don't know, tote, maybe little box thing with the handles at Goodwill. I think I paid like $3 for it or something like that. And I've been wanting to just kind of paint it up a little bit. It's kind of a grayish color, but I'm going to be using some milk paint on it. So I'm going to be using the color Curry. I have really fallen in love with that color, y'all. I love curry color. Anyway, so I've already given the box 2 coats of shellac and let that dry. So now I'm going to come in with this milk paint, and I'm going to make it kind of thick so it's not too runny. But milk paint is a powder paint, and I've become really fond of it, as y'all can tell in my videos, because I use it a lot. But I am also going to add just a little bit of the beeswax bar over the top of that shellac, because the wax kind of acts as a resist, and so it'll peel off some of the paint in the end, hopefully, as I'm getting some crackle. So I'm just going to go ahead and add some of this curry color paint. Again, milk paint is a powder paint. You mix it 1-to-1 ratio, powder to water, or however you want to do it. Stir it up really good, let it sit to the side, thicken up, and then you're ready to brush it on, like I am doing here. So I ended up giving this little box 2 coats of that curry color on the outside. But for the inside, I went back with DIY's Gypsy Green, just to kind of give it a different feel. So the curry color and the Gypsy Green, I think, go really well together. So the Gypsy Green went on the inside. Now I'm going to be using a piece of this IOD's Alfred Pete, I think it's Alfred Pete's and Co. I think that's it. Alfred Pete's and Co. inlay, y'all. This is from the summer 2026 collection, and I have been so wanting to use this. I think it's so pretty, and you get these various designs in this one inlay. So I am going to challenge myself, because one of my viewers said to me last time that yes, you can use or reuse the inlay if you use it in a top coat. And yes, that is true, you can. So if I said that you couldn't last time, what I really meant was that you could, but it doesn't give you, in my opinion, as good of an image as if you were using it in paint. So I am going to challenge myself to use this one sheet, one piece of inlay, and I'm going to do these bigger sides in the DIY liquid patina, and I'm going to use it twice. So I'm going to use the one for the bigger sides, I'm going to use twice and see what type of image I get. So I'm going to lay down my liquid patina, and you want to lay down a healthy amount because you want it to have good contact with the inlay. And then I'm just going to use my baby wipe and a little bit of water to press that into the liquid patina. And this is first use on one side, and then on the other side I'm going to use that same sheet for a second use and see what type of image we get. Okay, it's all dry, and you really don't want to leave this on too long if you are using a top coat, because it makes it really hard to peel off. Now, if I were using this in paint, yeah, I could leave it on, and I've even left it overnight before and was able to get it off just by wetting it up slightly. But with the top coat, it tends to stick a little bit harder, so you don't want to leave it on too long. But I'm going to spritz it here, and I am going to just kind of take off some of the excess water, and then I'm going to peel it back. And again, this is the best part of these inlays, is peeling it back. And again, this was first use on this side, and I think that turned out so pretty, y'all. Look how pretty that is. But we're going to flip it over, and we're going to use that same sheet for a second use on part of the back side. So it wouldn't fit over the whole back side, because the back side doesn't have those little rivets, and so it's bigger. But I'm going to lay down my liquid patina just like I did before, making sure that I lay down a healthy amount, and then I'm going to lay my inlay into it for most of the bottom half of this back side. And this same sheet, I'm just going to lay it in there just like I'm doing here. It's still wet from me misting it from before, but I'm just going to lay it in there, smooth it down with my baby wipe and my water just like I did before. And again, this is second use, but for that little like quarter of an inch, or quarter of the quarter of the space at the top, it's going to be a new piece that I had to trim off. So that little bit at the top will be first use. but the bottom part that I just did is the second use from what we did on the front. I hope that makes sense. Okay, it's reveal time again. So I'm going to spritz it with some water and then take off that excess water with my little shop towel here, and then we're going to peel it back. So I'm going to peel back that little bit at the top, and again, that was first use. So we'll kind of get a comparison between that little bit at the top, and then when we peel off of this, the bigger half down here, which is second use, we'll be able to kind of get a good comparison. So spritzing it down again, taking off the excess water, and getting ready to peel that back as well. So let's see what we get here. Just peeling it back. If it starts to tug, just give it a little bit more water. And here I am. I'm just going to peel that back. Second use here, and see what we get. And I got, as long as there's paint on the inlay, look, you can kind of tell the difference, but I did get an image. Definitely a little bit more faint from the first use, of course, because the more you use it, the less paint that you'll get, or you know, the less paint that'll be on it. So this little box is finished, y'all. All right, let's take a look back, y'all. Just plain, just gray, drab. And we added some shellac, we added some milk paint. I got some really good crackle. And then we added that inlay. I love this inlay, y'all, and I can't wait to use it on a bigger piece. We did show that, yes, you can reuse your inlay even if you're using a top coat. You'll just get a more faint image in both top coat and paint, but I think this turned out so pretty. What do y'all think? And I added these little decorative balls in the top just for decoration. You could put a plant in there or whatever you wanted to. So I think it turned out really cute. Hey y'all, it's Cassandra with Pecan Porch Boutique. It's been a while since I made a video, y'all, but you know, sometimes life throws you curveballs, and but I'm back, and I just wanted to pop in mid-video now and just say hello and thank you to you guys who watch my video. I'm always so appreciative. So I just want to tell y'all about this particular project here. So my sister got this little podium, or a little column. Can y'all see this? At a garage sale. I got two of them, actually. She got two of them, and I think she paid $10 each for them. So that is what I am going to be working on next, y'all. So my goal for this particular project is to see if I can get, you know, it's this chalky plaster type stuff, and I want to see if I can get a crackle finish over this plaster chalky stuff. So I'm going to be using some Sweet Pickins Extra Bond, and some milk paint, and I'm going to use the color Artichoke. So yeah, so the goal for this project is to see if I can get some crackle on this chalky type stuff. I've never done it, but I mean, you know, you never know until you try, right? And who am I to shy away from a challenge? Y'all already know we do challenges on this channel. So we'll see. So anyway, yeah, so this little column has a lot of floral and stuff on it, but it's white. Like, it's just white. So, you know, it's definitely a blank slate. Don't you love things that are blank slates? Anyway, y'all, thank y'all so much for hanging in there with me. I appreciate it. And I don't know, let's get started and see what happens. All right, see you soon. All right, y'all, that was an introduction to this project number 3. And I said mid-video, but this actually is the end video. So this is our third and final project. But take a look. It's just white. It's really pretty, even white, but it's a blank slate. And so we're going to see if we can't give it this old world plaster look again and make it look old, even though it's not. And I'm starting out by using Sweet Pickins Extra Bond. Connie from the Painted Photographer kind of started this Extra Bond craze to get crackle. And I chose Extra Bond instead of shellac for this piece because Extra Bond is thicker. It's also smellier, so that's why you see me with this mask on. But so I'm just gonna use this old chip brush to get Extra Bond everywhere, into all the crevices and cracks all over this little column, because I want to give it some crackle and some cracking. So I want it to look old in the end. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just adding Extra Bond everywhere. Okay, now to put on my milk paint in artichoke, and I have mixed it up really thick because I'm only going to be doing one coat, and I am just going to get that artichoke color, which is a beautiful green, all over this column. Again, just one coat because I wanted to crack back, hopefully, and I did get some really good crackle, y'all, but I wanted it to crack back to that white plaster look, just to kind of give it more of an aged feel. So just one coat of this artichoke in a thicker version all over this column. And with that one coat coverage, I'm not trying to get like every inch of the white, even though I put the Extra Bond everywhere. Once I start drying this up, which I will dry with a heat gun, it will dry up that Extra Bond too. You can dry the Extra Bond. So I'm not trying to get all of the white covered up either. So I'm leaving some of that here and there. And now I'm going to be using 2 of the IOD stamps. One is a retired stamp called Letters, and the other is the ephemeral type stamp, because y'all know I can't miss an opportunity to add some typography. So here I go with the stamping. But on this first stamp, y'all, you want to make sure that you have enough ink on your stamp pad. So I re-inked my stamp pad, but I really did have too much ink. So when you're stamping, you don't want to press your ink pad into your stamp, because it just squeezes out more ink. You just want to lightly tap your ink. So what happened here was I should have offloaded some of that ink from that first stamp, because once I started flipping and turning it, you'll see in a little while that the ink blobbed on there, and then it started to run. But for the other stamps, it worked perfectly. So here I am. I'm just going to stamp up different parts of this column, adding some wording, some typography, from the retired IOD letter stamp and from the current ephemeral type stamp. You can find these on my website, by the way, at pecanporchboutique.com. Not the letter stamp, but the ephemeral type stamp. Once I got all of my stamping on there that I wanted to, now I'm gonna use DIY's Cowgirl Coral color paint to kind of come back over some of these flowers. I'll also be using DIY's mint chip to cover some of the leaves. And so that will be kind of the last step before I give it a good clear wax. And I think this little column turned out really pretty. I got some great crackle with that extra bond, and just coloring these flowers really helped. But y'all can see that little blob that it made, but I camouflaged it with one of the butterflies from, I think, the Queen Bee stamp by IOD. I just kind of camouflaged it a little. I'm not a perfectionist when it comes to crafting, so it's okay. It is okay. I'm okay with it. I think this turned out really pretty. You guys will see it and tell me what you think. And here's a quick little video for a look back at our plain blank slate little column, y'all. I mean, it was really pretty, just white, and you could have kept it that way. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. But I wanted to add a little bit of color and kind of give it some aged look. So let's take a look at what it looks like now. I think it looks old now. What do y'all think? I love the way it came out with the crackle, and even see right there is where I covered up that blob of ink that I put too much, and I just used some white ink just to kind of give it an iridescent, I said butterfly, but it was a bee from the Queen Bee stamp. So, and then I just colored the flowers. I added a little bit of mint chip to the leaves, and I love how this turned out. I really do. I love it, and I hope you guys do too. Thank you guys so much once again for always showing up for me, for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. If you like this one, please give me a thumbs up and leave me some comments. I always appreciate your comments. And thank you to all of you who have hung in there with me and who leave me comments. I really am honored and very appreciative, y'all, honestly. Now, I'm rambling now, but I really do appreciate you all. So thank you so much. If you're looking, I do not retail DIY paint anymore, y'all, but I do still have some in my inventory. So if you're looking for any of the things that I've used in this video, you can find them on my website at pecanporchboutique.com. Until next time, don't forget to bud, bloom, and be unique. Bye-bye for now.